Welcome back, everyone. And today we're going to be using APIs to make a meal recipe app. And so our API is going to be the mealdb.com. And the code, we're going to be using the requests library, similar to last time. And the structure of our code is going to be it's going to be pretty similar. And so the point of this is just to reiterate how versatile and useful APIs can be when developing projects. So the way our app is going to work is we're going to want the user to input some sort of food that they want the recipe and ingredients of. We're going to make a GET request, or getting information from an API. We're going to make a GET request to the mealdb.com, and it's going to return ingredients and the recipe. So looking at this documentation, we can see there's search meal by name. And so this is going to be the URL that we're going to use. However, first thing that we should do is we should code up the input that we want the user to give. So we'll say variable name food is equal to input. Please enter a food. Now we need to create the URL that we'll make the GET request to. So we'll simply copy this and then analyze it to see how we can fit it with our own app. So we just create a URL in a string format and then this. So now that we're looking in this, we can see everything is normal except for this last part where it says S is equal to this food. In the mealsdb documentation, we can see that S is going to be our search term, and so we don't want this food. Instead, we want to replace it with our own user input. To make sure it works, we'll just put an extra string bracket around the input. Now, all we have to do is do requests.get to our URL, and we can put it in a JSON format, which helps with formatting. We'll simply put this in response variable and then print response. So it says, please enter food. We can write pizza, and then it gives us this huge, JSON format, JSON response, basically. So now, the first thing we want to do is print out ingredients. And so if we look here, we can see that from this bracket to this is where all the information lies. And these two extra brackets are things that we have to iterate through to get into this big area where the information is. So the first thing is that we know we got a dictionary, and so we need to do meals, and then it'll return us this. And then once we are in, so this value is a list, and then once we are in this list, we need to get the first value in the list, which is simply going to be the 0 index, which will give us this dictionary where our information is. So to code it up, all we need to do is simply do it would be response of meals of 0. So we can just print that. And if there's no typos, we should simply get, so here is this ID meal, and then date modified none, and then we got that. So now all we have to do is get the key that we want, and then we can get the value. So the first thing we need to do is we need to print out the ingredients for our food. If we look here near the bottom half, we can see str ingredient 1, str ingredient 2, str ingredient 3, and so on and so forth. So what we need to do is we need to loop through all of the dictionary keys, and then if the key, so if the key includes the string str ingredient, then we want to print out the value. So if str ingredient is in X, then print response meals of 0 of X. So right now, let me comment this out. So now if we run it, we can get, please enter a food, pizza, and then it'll give us the ingredients. However, as we can see, there's a lot of white space right here. There's a lot of empty strings that are being printed. And so simply to get rid of that, all we have to do is just add another string and say, if this is our ingredient value, if it is not an empty string, then and only then we should print our ingredient. So we simply do this, pizza, and then it prints us all the ingredients with no empty strings. This is the ingredients section. Now let's move on to the final part, which will be printing the recipe. So if we scroll up back to our large JSON, we can see this one key called str instructions. And then it shows preheat the oven, um, add sugar, etc., etc. So now we know this is the key for our recipe. So all we have to do is instead of, so response meals of 0 is a constant, and the only thing that changes is going to be the key, which is instead of str, instead of str ingredient, it's going to be str instructions. So we just copy that over and response meals of 0 str instructions. This is going to print out our recipe. Run it again, pizza, and now we can see our ingredients have been printed and then the instructions have also been printed as well. So this is how we made a simple recipe app in under 7 minutes, and I hope you guys like it, and we'll make sure to tune in next time when we have a video. Thank you.